Good afternoon / evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Show Me the Money, our what if reaction review discussion. We're talking episode 2, What If T'Challa Was Star-Lord? And this is nothing against the episode from last week, but I thought this was leaps and bounds better than last week.
I think it's everything against last week's episode. You sound like an asshole.
Who has their AC on super loud?
That's me. That's me.
Okay. No.
How rude. Sure. How rude.
It is hot here, and I want to be comfortable while on the show.
If it was Geoff, I would have given him more shit, but Dan, it's fine. You can keep it on.
It's all right.
If it's distracting, I will turn it on.
Buck, haven't you blasted fans while on streams before? What is this? Hypocrite.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, you all have excuses. Like you're in the Midwest, Buck's in Arizona. I'm in the desert.
Yeah, I have central air in the apartment, so it doesn't really blast loud. So, but anyways, this was a good episode, wasn't it? It was a great episode.
Don't do it.
I was gonna say hello.
Be nice.
I was gonna say hello. Jesus.
Be nice.
What are you talking about? Hello, Jake. I hope you're having a great day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jake, thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate
Thank you, Jake.
As always.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun being on C2A last Sunday.
Dude, that was chaos.
I was the only one that was sober.
Jordan definitely wasn't sober.
Yeah. Elena Jordan. Yeah. Anyways, no, this was a lot of fun. And hello, Pardis. I gotta say the same there. Yep. So one of the things from last episode versus this episode was last episode to me felt like it was just like it took the concept of what if Peggy Carter was Captain America. Great. And they just basically just flipped it and had her do everything that Captain America did before. Yeah. There were a couple little changes. A weird Cthulhu monster suddenly showed up at one point. And then Steve basically just kind of did Steve stuff, but like as Ironmonger. But at the end of the day, it was just sort of like a mashup of Captain America things we'd seen before.
Yeah.
This one was way more of a what if and then branching off to be more of its own thing.
Yeah, it was
there was a moment there was a moment in this episode where, because this is a spoiler discussion, unlike the other episodes, unlike the first episode where I was just like, oh, that's fun, that's cool, because they're all references to things. In this one, first of all, Jaimin Hansu gets so much more to do in this one episode than he did in any of the movies that he was in. Yeah. And this whole episode is just him fanboying out about this fake version of Star-Lord in this universe. But the moment is like right there when he's
I don't want to put a label on it, but we're kind of best friends.
And the moment that made me like be like, oh my god, this is totally different than like just like a rehash of stuff was, or just like adding extra little things to it, was when they're at the club and suddenly Thanos is just there.
Chill. I loved the whole 180 flip, because you think Thanos like, what's happening here? He kind of gave up. Like he did a completely 180. And
it was,
it very subverted my expectations of Thanos there, and I loved it.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say, and then I don't want to be the only one speaking here with that, is just the way they were able to take valid criticism about how he as a villain, his one big plan was always just like kill a lot of people, and it turned out to just be it's just genocide. And then that was legitimately what they kept saying it was, when he kept being like, as if it was the way that Paulina said it to me was, it's just like, like a story that he tells at parties now. And then every time someone responds with like, no, Thanos, that's just genocide.
Yeah, that's just genocide.
Dan, how did you weren't here last week.
No.
So, what were your feelings on Captain Carter? What were your feelings on Chala Star-Lord?
For very different reasons. And this is the term I used when I was on Views from the Montiverse Monday. I was whelmed by both of them, neither over or underwhelmed by either. But I think, to your point, Geoff, where Captain Carter was too far one way as far as just Peggy Carter is essentially Captain America, I thought they did too many. There was too much going on in this episode. I wish we would have had a few less characters show up in this one. Like, yeah, I know all of them have some sort of tie to Guardians of the Galaxy, but I just felt like each time we saw a new character, it was a bit rather than a fleshed out story. I felt like the whole episode was just, oh, what if, no pun intended, what if this, what if this, what if this? And it could have been refined just a hair. Like, I liked, I don't remember Jumon Hansu's character. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Thank you. I liked that bit. I liked what you talked about with Thor, but then we had Nebula, we had Drax, and Howard and all this stuff. And I just wish it was a little more refined. So I hope in the next couple episodes we find a nice balance between the Captain Carter and the T'Challa and Star-Lord, somewhere in the middle, with not so many characters saying, oh, here's what they would be like in this world, and not so much, this is just a minor tweak to what the world would be like.
Yeah. Now, another question I have for you is, I had an issue with it when I first saw the trailer. I had an issue with it last week. I still have an issue with it this week. How do you feel about just the style of animation, the character look?
My issue, I don't have a problem with the style of animation. It's just kind of how they choose to use it. Like, both episodes are so violent in some ways, but then refuse to follow through. It's like, oh, we're not going to show blood, but that's about it. The rest is super violent in a lot of ways. So I think that's my biggest issue with it, is where their line is as far as what they're willing to do with the animation. And some of it feels, I feel it's, did either of you watch Star Wars Resistance?
No, but I know what you're talking about. Where I saw clips of that.
It feels like
very
that
interesting
style.
Yeah,
it's like half cell shaded, and it's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 3D cell shading, but also it's like sort of 2D. It's like this weird thing. It's like if Beautiful Joe was 3D.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a little off-putting still. Like, every time I see an image of Thor right now and their version of Thor, it's very off-putting. Like, to me, maybe it's because I'm colorblind. I don't know. That's not what Drax looks like in the movies, at all. Because he has a very clearly defined different color throughout him. In this episode versus him in the movies, where it just seems like it's all scarring instead.
Right. It looks more tattooed in What If, as opposed to the natural. It looks more natural in the live action.
Now, for the voice actors, we got Benicio del Toro to do more than he's done a lot of the time. That was definitely Benicio del Toro. I looked it up.
Really? To me, it did not sound like him.
That was him. The difference is he just hardly said anything before, if you recall.
Yeah.
He, just like Korath, he did hardly anything, but I looked it up. That's definitely him. It wasn't Dave Bautista as Drax, but the guy who did do it did a very good imitation. Chadwick Boseman was great as
that was definitely
Star-Lord. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Right. He was able to sell everything that he was saying, and make it work.
Karen Gillan back as Nebula.
Josh Brolin was back. Carrie Coon was back. All these people in.
Yes, Carrie Coon, who had so much to say as well.
In this one,
we had Michael Rooker back.
Yeah.
I feel like Yondu's would be hard to replace. Like you kind of needed Michael Rooker to be back.
You need Michael Rooker to be back. Absolutely. They got Sean Gunn back, and they got
Taserface.
No,
whoever plays Taserface.
Or was it Steve Agee?
I don't remember his. It's not Steve Agee.
No, but it's the guy from This Is Us.
Yeah, it's the guy from this. Steve Agee is the guy who was in the control room in the Suicide Squad and also did the motion capture work for King Shark.
I didn't realize he did the motion capture for King Shark.
Yeah. I also really like Steve Agee in I think it's the show You're the Worst. I like his cameos in that show too. But we're not here to talk about Steve Agee.
I thought Seth Green was hilarious as Howard the Duck.
Yeah,
Seth, like I agree that was like extra. That might have added like just kind of over stuff. The individual things that ended up making it over stuff, though, they were all very fun.
I won't disagree. I'm not going to disagree there.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was very fun, but also like in my mind, I'm like, hold on a minute. It's a weird thing to take me out of it. He's in his cell, and he has his glass, and he's drinking out of it. And when he gets out, he goes straight to the bar and gets another drink. So he had a drink in there. Does he get refills while he's in there? I don't think people are normally attended to. How are they taken care of? And that sort of thing. Like I went on this like whole thing in my head. So
no, I think I may be more open to liking this down the line if we don't get any sort of callbacks to this stuff, to the what if universes in the the sacred timeline, if that's what we want to call it. If these
we're going to end up getting them. We're going to get like there's all this stuff about and you know, obviously almost all of it's rumor at this point, really.
Right.
But stuff like there's a chance we're actually going to see Captain Carter in real life play out.
Right.
Which would be kind of different because Captain Carter's body gets big. Are they going to CGI up her body to make her look like a fucking Amazon? Or what? And they're like, oh yeah, we might see her in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Well, I mean, it would make sense if apparently What If is supposedly canonical as far as variant timelines go.
If this is canon and there is potential for these universes to have an impact on the MCU as we know it, I think that's where my issue more is with my previous criticisms. Mm-hmm. If they are not going to interfere or play any part, yeah, let's have some fun. I don't mind the outlandishness or the overstuffedness of the episode. Mm-hmm. So this criticism may change as we see where it goes in the MCU.
Right. What else is there about? I mean,
one thing I really did like, but it's not a great look for Peter Quill Star-Lord, is the idea of nature versus nurture. That's kind of a big theme in this episode. But again, doesn't make Peter Quill look all that great in the whole
Paulina, I'm pretty sure Paulina actually said, like, oh, he's way better. Like, he saved so many people. He made the Ravagers good guys, like legitimate good guys. And then, like, it shows, like, what happened to Peter Quill if he didn't traverse the stars. He was, you know, working
a janitor.
At Dairy Queen. Yeah. I don't want to say janitor because, like, he could also just work other jobs at Dairy Queen too. But
he's ego.
Yeah, he's just normal ego bait, which is funny because it's like everything seems better in this universe with T'Challa as Star-Lord. Like, so many things seem like legitimately better. But also, ego can get Peter Quill without an issue, and then suddenly everything's going to go to shit, probably. So what it didn't even matter. Like that, there's that sort of thing.
That was the thing I liked most, was that dynamic right there. Like the actual consequences of all this stuff was interesting to me.
Agreed. I have no idea what the consequences of Captain Carter, so Cthulhu, didn't really explore that at all.
No.
Because she went through that same portal, but
Right.
the Cthulhu thing didn't come out when she came out at the beginning of the Avengers.
No.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
One of my favorite moments is when they're fighting T'Challa and the Collector, and he brings down that one crate with all those weapons. You see Cap's shield, you see Thor's head. You're like, wow, he's been doing some collecting.
That was a clever fight.
Oh yeah, I like that one a lot. And I like that one thing that they did was they did a callback to the help joke from Thor Ragnarok. It's like we're doing help, and then but this one it's like we're gonna do sticky fingers, and they basically did the same thing with one person being the distraction, throwing him at himself, and that I thought was kind of funny, a little clever. Sorry, it's been a long day. But it's funny because I think I was like telling myself, oh, I got so much I want to talk about with this episode. But once again, it's like a lot of it's Easter eggs. It's just like, oh, that's a lot of fun.
They're 25, 30 minutes. We can't go too long. Like, there's just not enough to talk about. Like,
I mean, to be fair, we've talked a lot longer about the Mandalorian, who is in the exact same amount of time.
We talked about like WandaVision, where the first couple episodes were like normal length things. So I don't think that's an issue. But I think it's because there's way more theorizing. I think the difference is the longer episode ones are all about theorizing, and this is more like I saw it, I watched it, I enjoy it. Jeez, I can't believe I'm like yawning like this. I'm sorry.
What if Geoff was awake for this episode?
I can't. I've been tired all day.
Oh no.
Old man.
Yeah, so sleepy. So sleepy. But you know what didn't make me sleepy? This episode. I had a lot of fun with it. I do agree in hindsight. It is a little too overstuffed. But
yeah, there is a lot going on in this episode. I will agree to that.
I didn't think we needed the Black Order. Like, to me, the Black Order was brought together to be followers of Thanos. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that they all would be back together as some group before, like now in this timeline, if Thanos isn't trying to, call the universe. But
Collector stones,
the Collector is. I wanted to see is he like part of some other group other than just being the Collector?
Yes, he's part.
He's part of the Tivon group. I didn't know if he was like his own Titan or one of those crazy things or something.
No, I think he's an elder of the universe, like like the dude from Sakaar, the Grand Master. They're all like
okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. In terms of I knew that he was something related to someone, so I was just trying to like run through my head, like who would the Black Order choose to work for?
Right.
And then this is also us reading into it because Marvel, as the film and television side tell us, they don't actually go into enough detail on that. It's just like they're there.
Right.
So it's not like anything like crazy. Like having them there is just more of like, oh, okay, that's kind of fun.
I will admit I was fooled by the triple cross. Seems like classic storytelling that I shouldn't have, but I will admit that I was pleasantly surprised by the triple cross. Like, oh, there was a plan within a plan within a plan. So that was clever.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I liked how this episode was like, it was so many things, but it was also a heist on top of all of that too.
Right.
And I like that when the MCU is able to take some stories and they put them against well-worn, like fun genre things, like when they have their heists, or things like that. Those I think are when it can really shine the most. So, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say there. I think that once again we got more from Seth Green than we ever did in the movies. We got more from Jaimin Hansu than we ever did in the movies. We got more from any of the Black Order probably than what we did in the movies. Definitely Carrie Coon, I'd say.
I mean, it's just a shame that kind of like Idris Elba. Like, I would have rather she been a more prominent character in the MCU than this henchman.
I agree. Maybe he'll come back as a variant. Who knows?
Fine with me.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know. Is there anything else much that you want to discuss about this episode, or
this episode? No, but I do want to bring something up. Just kind of get everyone's thoughts here. Again, I don't know if this is confirmed, but this is rumored on what the episodes could potentially be. So next week is Loki invasion.
So that might mean if he wins.
That's what I was thinking. Like if he wins the Battle of New York type of thing.
Yeah, and then what is it? Episode 4 is Doctor Strange Supreme.
I think it's like Dark Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like if Doctor Strange joined the band, the Supremes.
Yeah, but out of all of these, the one I'm looking forward the most is that final episode.
Ultron, Vision, Infinity Stones, and Guardians of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I want to see Tony Stark and Sakaar. But one thing that, of course, will, bug me is, it's not Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. And his voice in particular is so tied to it. And the fact that this is the MCU and so many other members of the MCU are reprising their roles. Hell, we even have a man who's dead reprising their roles. How could they not get Robert Downey Jr.?
I'm curious if he's going to be doing a impersonation of Robert Downey Jr. or doing his own version of Tony Stark.
We saw a bit in the trailer, and it seemed like he was just doing a straight-up impersonation of the first scene of Iron Man.
Okay.
So
I think they want to make it seem like it is Robert Downey Jr. to the people that don't know that it's not.
Yeah, I guess they just didn't want to pay him for a voice role.
They're probably,
or
in case they ever really want to bring him back for something surprising, I'm sure they're holding that card close to the chest.
Yeah.
True.
I'm not saying there will be anything, but if he's ever brought back, I doubt it's going to be for voiceover work.
Probably true.
It could have been he just doesn't want to do voiceover work.
Like it looks like the people that they couldn't get back. They didn't bring back Chris Evans. They didn't bring back Dave Bautista. Dave said he was never asked. And they didn't bring back Robert Downey Jr., but it looks like virtually every other person came back.
I don't think they got Tom Holland.
They didn't get Tom Holland. That's true, which is weird because he's like still active. But we don't know
if he loves playing Spider-Man, so
we don't know if there is a Spider-Man story maybe at the moment because maybe there's not.
Because I know he's in it. I know Spider-Man.
I believe they're in. I believe in the Doctor Strange one, you have like a Sorcerer Spider-Man showing up, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
The amazing Jake Berlin in the chat. Jake, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and Jake, I guess I mean more for like animation voiceover work.
Yeah, for like specifically these shows where they don't have some of those actors, but it's like Chris Hemsworth will be Thor in anything. He's not going anywhere.
I can't wait to see him as Party Thor. That's gonna be
like,
hilarious.
Is he? Other than who's left of the original Avengers at this point? We have, I guess Hawkeye. We have Hawkeye, Fury, and
Zombie Hunter Spider-Man.
Because we got Hawkeye, we got Fury, we have Hemsworth. And Ruffalo, I guess, depending on what they do for him.
Yeah.
So, but we're down a couple of the big ones, so I guess we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything much to say. I'm excited to see what happens next. But I think this is really going to be like how we feel about a lot of these moving forward. We watched it. It's fun to be like, oh, Easter eggs. But I'm wondering if, thanks to variants and alternate timelines and all these other stuff, are we going to feel like we want to expound upon things more than just we liked what we saw? And maybe we won't. Maybe this show isn't going to be anything deeper than that. Maybe it's just a fun thing. If that's the case, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know that they just are doing something for fun.
I think I will like it more if it is that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they said they're doing a second season, I believe.
Yeah.
Because they said it's 9 and 9. So 9 episodes this season, 9 next season. So I'm curious.
That's a total of 18.
You can do math, quiz show.
Yeah, I can. Absolutely. Call me the calculator. Anyways.
No, we call you quiz show.
Sure you do.
Dan, any final thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for Shang-Chi.
Yes. Same.
Based on these reviews, I am too.
Based on these
friend
reactions?
of the channel, Matt Thomas, is actually, I think, seeing it right now.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. He was going to be on to talk about this episode because he got, as a member of the press, he was able to get an early screening, so he's there right now watching it. Otherwise, he'd be here. So I'm sure we'll be able to hear about it very soon from that. Interesting. That's true. It could be. That could be it. There could be a way that they somehow tie it together to make everything feel more canonical in a way. I'm very interested to see why they're doing this because obviously the MCU, everything they do somehow brings back to how to tie everything together.
Yeah.
So
everything matters. Everything is done for a reason. We may not know what it is right now, but
yeah, like maybe there's a reason why it's not Robert Downey Jr. voicing Tony Stark.
Maybe he had a schedule conflict.
Yeah, maybe he had a schedule conflict for the last 2 years to record in a booth for half a day or literally send in his voice over voice memo in text message. So,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
calling out RDJ.
Yeah, absolutely. That man makes so much money. It's okay. I can punch up.
Yeah, you can. Dan, where can everyone find you online and everything you're doing?
You can find me on Twitter at dhouse77. You can also find me on Mondays on Views from the Moneyverse talking nerdy news. And every now and then you can find me streaming tabletop RPG games on Twitch at McStabber Studios. Also in blue polos with Buck, apparently.
We're rocking the blue polos today. That is true. Quisha, where can we find you?
In blue button downs. But you can find me here doing this stuff. We have our Schmodown shows on Tuesdays when we want to do them and try to get panels when we can. If we don't try or if people aren't available, then we just do normally Buck and myself, or we cancel because we're tired, like we did this past week. We also do these hangouts post pay-per-view on Fridays. That's a lot of fun with the guys from Spin from the Reel. We call Schmo Me the Reel. We alternate between this channel and theirs at What Real Entertainment. Those are a lot of fun. We get a lot of guests on there. We have some recurring Schmodown guests such as Thomas Harper and Paige Forbetti and the always wonderfully interesting Video Drew. And I'm very excited for what we get to do here. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. This was a fun episode. It really made me feel
that scared the crap out of me, by the way. My heart was like, oh. But it's still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Thank you to Evan Bushkar for that. We wouldn't be playing that all the time if it wasn't for Evan Bushkar introducing it to us. Everyone, make sure to follow Geoff on Twitter at Geoff1106. Can follow me at Brandon
Excuse you.
Buck. No.
Excuse you.
No. You can follow me at Brandon Buck88. You can follow the show Twitter down there in the bottom corner at Schmo Me
Covering
Money.
up Dan.
Yes, covering up Dan. I just had to pull it up real quick. We appreciate everyone that is subscribed to that channel. We have officially passed 200. Oh my gosh. Vin Diesel, Blastoid.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for helping us hit 200.
Yeah.
Onward and upward. Now that we have 202, we want to get to 203. So yeah. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and we want to keep it going.
If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so that every time we go live for a stream, you'll get
Also
a notification. This was getting there. Make sure to
Like
the video. Comment with what your thoughts on the episode were. Did you prefer 2 over 1? What were some of your favorite moments from episode 2?
And also, what'd you have for dinner? Things like that.
I don't care what you had for dinner.
It's some grocery
I do, because you know what? Any comment in any comment adds to the algorithm. Do it.
Until next time,